It's time to flip the switch. Welcome, welcome. We're back with another episode of Chopping It Up with the old gang. We're back at it again. Shout outs to the homies OG Feek and Neo for showing up for this episode.
Dude, how we doing?
And sir, how you
What's
boys
up,
doing?
y'all?
We're doing good, bro. Excited to be here. For
That's-
sure.
I can't get over Feek's mean shades, bro. I can't stop. Look at that man, bro. Woo!
All right, yeah, those shades.
That man about to get a tan, boy.
That's how that. That's how. Yeah, that's nuts, bro.
They're really something. I mean, this guy got a lot to say. So, I mean, just sit back, relax. It's about to be a really good show. We talking about quarantine, as you guys can see in the title. But before we really get into the substance, get into the real conversation, chopping it up, all that good stuff, I just want to say a major thank you to each and every person that's viewed a single second of chopping it up, has gone on Instagram, gone on YouTube, just supported, told a friend, talked to me, like been in each of our DMs just saying, you guys are doing great work. I'm really proud of you. And just, I can't even put it into words. Like, I'm really struggling for the words, honestly. But I think I speak for all the hosts in saying how grateful we are for each and every one of you. And we're just going to keep bringing that content, keep bringing that conversation. I mean, name of the game is we want to have a high level of accountability. And we want to bring you good content and conversations that you can kind of take something away from, something where you can challenge yourself to think a little bit outside the box. Maybe not think about the perspective that you have, but think about your neighbor's perspective. Think about someone that you probably never even met, how they're feeling. So just to broaden your horizons, a little food for thought, food for the soul.
Yes, sir.
Amen, bro. Amen.
Yes, indeed. So yeah, like I said, title of today's episode, Quarantine Dreams and Nightmares. 2020 has been one of the toughest years, I would like to say, in my almost 25 years of life. I think I speak for my fellow hosts as well in saying that. And let's unpack it a little bit. There's a lot of different things. This is not just a singular topic. There's a lot of things that we can talk about pertaining to this issue, but we'll dabble in a couple of them. We'll hit on a couple of the important ones, I would say. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So, something that I have been seeing all over social media, on the news, like it just seems like there's just always coverage about it, is wearing masks. One of these right here. So, it seems like there's a divide on it. And to be honest with you, I really just don't understand it. I really don't. I mean, do you guys get it? I mean, is it something, is it rocket science? Is it something that is supposed to boggle the mind?
I don't think so.
I mean,
Nah, man. It's as simple as it doesn't really cost us anything, right? So, even if there is some controversy, like we need to be responsible for our neighbors as well as for ourselves, you know. And wearing a mask to me doesn't seem like the the biggest like waste of time for you. You know, all you got to do is buy one and just make sure you put it on when you're outside. You know, it's not like you're using it indoors 24/7.
Well, it
So,
is.
Just wear a damn mask, bro. It's not that. It's not that complicated.
I just
well, the thing is though, I'm sure there are people out there that think that wearing a mask probably isn't uh like beneficial, right? Because as you guys know, like early on, the CDC didn't even recommend that we should wear masks, you know, because the virus wasn't as prominent and we didn't really know much about it. So I feel like maybe some people kind of have that mentality roll over to now, you know, still have the idea that it doesn't really help. So I feel like that's why you see a lot of people without masks.
yeah.
I mean,
And sadly, you see a big anti-science crowd. Sadly, just repelling everything that comes from the scientific community. Obviously, the scientific community. Um, you look at surgeons who wear masks for 24-hour long surgeries so that they don't get the person in front of them sick, right? Is that really something you can't do for your 3-minute walk to the grocery store? I don't know.
right.
Yeah, it's
I mean-
disappointing to me.
You think about it. how much time you actually spend at the grocery store. What is it, like 15, 30 minutes? Like just wear the mask for 30 minutes of your entire day. Like I don't think that's that much to ask for, you know what I'm saying? And the reason that we're using these is for a good cause. Like we're trying to prevent transmission of the disease to others and prevent ourselves from contracting the disease. Like it doesn't make sense for us to, make noise and clamor about our rights and being able to breathe like that. To me, that's just ridiculous. It's like we need to devote our time towards, uh, awareness towards other things, not mask wearing. Like things that we've talked about in the past, things like Black Lives Matter, police brutality, domestic violence, assault, things that are actually important, you know, things that actually
Yeah.
carry weight in our everyday happenings, in our everyday world. Like I don't understand why you see so many articles and so many clips about people fighting with the security or fighting with the store about masks. It's ridiculous. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of breath. And I can't get behind it, dude. It's
I mean,
ridiculous.
so I feel like the four of us are pretty in agreement on this point. How do you then respond to someone who says something otherwise?
Well, look, the only thing that I mean, Christina just put something interesting in the chat. Some people would argue that they can't breathe with a mask, which is why they won't wear it. I mean, I'm sure there are probably slight adjustments you can make to a mask to make it so that, um, to make it so that you're able to breathe in the long run. But just like Neo Kante said, there are like literal investigations like in laboratories that have been made about how every phrase that we say has a certain amount of respiratory droplets. Yeah, shout out to my mom if y'all saw her,
Yes, indeed.
gracing the podcast, but yeah, I mean there's simple data. Like all you have to do is go on Google and understand the positive effects that wearing a mask has on a disease on a virus, and then you'll know, So I don't think it's that difficult. Um, if you can't breathe because the mask is too tight, I'm sure there are minor adjustments that you can make so that, um, you'll be able to be in it comfortably. But I don't know. I don't know what someone could say honestly, opposing that,
No,
because it's not
definitely.
like it's not gonna take any time away from you. Just
No,
you know,
not at all.
what's funny? It's like actually funny. Imagine if the people who are making noise and clamoring about their rights to breathe and wearing masks in grocery stores actually devoted that time and that energy into things of importance. Like what I said, like police brutality and like people's lives lost because of uh, issues between the police and the victims and the people that they're called to handle. Like or famine or hunger, starvation, like actual things of importance
or read a
that
book,
need like
Yeah,
things
yeah,
that
come on.
need like things that
anything.
actually need avoid like there are things in life like just general like it doesn't even you don't need to be humanitarian, you don't need to be like a philosopher, like there's things in life naturally that you feel should be supported and should be spoken about that we need to spend our breath speaking on. And I'm sorry, masks just don't do it for me, bro. Like masks, like it's a fraction of the time that I spend during the
Right.
day.
Yeah.
I don't need to make noise or like be caught on video recorded about nonsense. It's
Feel
literally nonsense.
threatened.
I feel like you're saying, and exactly how our boy Timmy Gardner just put it in the chat. Even if it was a hoax, it's a very niche hill to die on. Like literally to die on. To throw that one out there.
Yeah,
It's
like what?
Yeah, and I mean, I think just to go back to your question, I would kind of just put it to someone like this: you wear a mask, it's kind of a sign of respect in a sense. Like I care about you, I care about your health, your safety, right? So basically, just kind of put it back on them. So then, what happens when your child, your loved one, your best friend is caught in a predicament where they're next to someone without a mask, and you know what? They just contract
Oh,
the virus, and then you're gonna hear about it till the cows come home. And then if that person ends up in the hospital and worst case scenario occurs, then what are you saying then? Oh man, I wish I put on the mask. What I would really tell people is this is not a political thing.
Right.
That's I think what the major issue is. Everyone's
That's a
like,
great
"Oh,
point.
this is politics." You know, the left is saying this, the right is right
No,
about this. Like we're
it
saying
shouldn't be
this. No,
politicized.
no, this is a basic
Public health.
human right to health. That's what we're talking about. So once we get that in our minds, and it's no longer this divisive America 2020 rhetoric, then maybe we can actually do something about this, and maybe we can actually get someone to wear a mask when they should be. That's what I gotta say about that. Like,
Fauci
come on.
2020. Sim, that's funny.
For
Yeah.
real, Timmy.
No, it's weird. And the people that do, like put out the Fauci Fridays and so on and so forth are there's a lot of those people. I mean, Fauci wouldn't vouch for not wearing masks and all that. I mean, you see in articles, you see in press releases, he's saying he's basically wearing a mask whenever he knows he's gonna come into contact with
Right.
people. It's not
Or
that hard a
if if
concept.
if you if you ever put up a Fauci post, a Fauci Friday post, you should not be going to a party or going over someone's house right
Yeah, that's
now.
agreed.
Is
Like
there anything
what?
more to say?
Defeats
Like, come on,
defeats the
now, like,
purpose.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty straight, like self-explanatory. Like, I mean, like, okay, I get people are complaining, but what are you really complaining about? Look at the actual context of like what you're making noise about. It's irrelevant. It's really irrelevant,
Relevant.
especially considering what's going on, what's around you. Like, there are way more important
Yeah.
things that we should be concerned about than a
Yeah.
mask, dude. Like, I don't want to part of my language, but it's a mask. It's a mask. It takes up like 20 minutes, 30 minutes at max. Like, if
For a
you really
piece
have
of
to
cloth.
grocery
Bro,
shop, bro. Like, it's actually, it blows, bro. Like,
bro,
I live in the Midwest, bro. I think me and my brother, when we go shopping, are the only ones that
That's
wear
crazy.
masks and gloves. I understand, like, there's rhetoric about gloves and whether they're effective, but it's better to be safe than sorry.
Facts.
End of discussion. It's
just wear a
always
mask.
better to be safe than sorry. Like, don't be that guy erring on the side of, oh well, it's a mask. Like it's not gonna do much. No, bro, just like protect yourself and protect the ones around you because it's
Yeah.
important. We don't need to transmit this disease. We don't need to just like transmit these germs to other people. Like, it's just not necessary. And if we can take measures to do that, come on.
Of course. And
It's pretty self-explanatory to me.
of course. I mean, we see in the chat, yes, when you are wearing your mask, if you are choosing to wear your mask, we recommend that you do. It is not a chin strap. I mean, your chin don't need any protection. I mean, you can let that beard fly. You can, let people see your chin. If it covers your chin, then great.
Uh,
But gotta cover the mouth, gotta cover the nose. End of story. That's masks. I mean, come on, it's not that
Amen.
hard. But
Oh,
I
that's
think
facts, dude.
I think another issue that we've been seeing during these times, I mean, it's been what about I want to say roughly 4 months since all
Mm.
the lockdowns have been put in place. I mean, we're currently not really in lockdown. Certain places are, but I think a major thing has been we've really kind of just been at home for all this time and we don't have the structure and the schedule that we typically would. I mean, that's one of the great things of like say working, going to school, like it just easily structures out your day. So I mean, productivity has definitely taken a hit, I would say, but I mean, what do you guys think? Have you guys been as productive lately as you were prior to like February 2020?
Whew.
I mean,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I mean, look, I'm gonna hit on some of the mental aspects of this quarantine later on, but um, it has been so even though there's a little bit of an illusion that there's more time, therefore, there's a lot more probability for you to do more things. The the abrupt disruption in routine has kind of left me a little bit confused at times, if you know what I mean, like disoriented. Um, it's a little bit more difficult, or at least in the very beginning, it was a lot more difficult for me to understand the different types of ways I can, um, like how I can use my time wisely. I know I had a conversation with Rumi like a couple months ago, and she told me that she came up with what she would do is she would make a list of things that she could do like during quarantine. I remember there was one about like uh having someone email you like a picture of yourself or something like that, like making physical copies of your pictures or like drawing, journaling. Um,
Hmm.
I felt like, at first I did struggle with time, but as time progressed, as I got kind of more used to the idea of just being at home all the time, it's been a little better. But I mean, I wouldn't say I've been more productive, but it's at least getting better with time for me personally, at least.
I'll say in a little contrast to your point that this COVID stuff kind of ramped up big time while I was taking classes. So I really didn't have a choice in terms of management and time management and organization. I kind of had to stick to a schedule because I still had classes, and I had exams and I had assignments like that.
Hmm.
So that kind of forced me to be on top of things, and it forced me to stick to a schedule. Of course, like my participation and my effort kind of dwindled down a little bit because I was at home. I didn't
Oh
have to
yeah.
go to class and stuff like that. I didn't have to participate, but I'm appreciative that like I was still doing things of of importance. Like I was still like my grades still mattered, even though it was pass fail. Like I still had to
Mhm.
pass the class, right?
Of
So I
Right.
had to
course.
put effort in. Um, but yeah, I can tell you now though, like in the summer, other than this pod, this series of episodes, and like a few things. If you guys know me, some stuff, but it's kind of been hard to stay on schedule and stuff like that. But like uh, I thank school for putting me on some type of roadmap towards getting things done and meeting deadlines and um, you know getting the things done necessary that I need to get to for classes and assignments for
Right.
sure.
For sure.
Right. But like let's be honest. Let's be honest for a quick second. How many of those blackboard classes do you just not have the camera on to
Oh,
just
bro. Hey,
like in another like dimension? Like, come on.
bro.
I mean, I'm just being honest. There were definitely times when professors saying this and the other, and I was just in my own little world. I don't even know what I was doing, to be honest with you.
100%,
On
bro.
a
But
different planet, bro.
yeah, like
Like
I just was
looking at
not
like
there.
NBA season stats or something crazy
Yeah,
like
just
that.
like
For sure, bro. I could testify to that, bro.
like
For sure.
watching TV. I mean, I'm just being honest. Like, I'm. That's how it is. I mean, you're in the comfort of your own home, and it's just so different. Like, you're
Yeah.
asking us to have our cameras on, basically show you a part of our home, which is very private. And when
For
you're in the
for
privacy
real.
of your home, like, it is kind of a safe haven. It's like, okay, I don't have to worry about the outside world and all the work that I have to do. Like, it's a release. It's really like a sanctuary. But now we're mixing that work with our home. So
Yeah.
how are we productive? How do we get things done? I mean, as you said, we kind of had to. I think I speak for you, O, and you, Dan, as well. We kind of just had to get it done. I mean, it wasn't like we were just working from home, could log our own hours. But yeah, I mean, just being honest, I have my ups and downs.
Yeah.
Planners help
Yeah.
though.
In the context of something in the chat, Fish has said, I also think productivity isn't necessarily the best goal. More important to focus on stability and routine. Um, for my life over the past what was it 4 months now? It's crazy.
God knows, I
Um,
lost track of
I
time.
for
Seems
those
like
who don't know,
years.
I'm an experimental physicist. I work in a
Oh
lab.
my gosh.
Sheesh.
Chill, bro, chill.
Sheesh.
As a
Um,
scholar,
nah,
yo.
no, no, no.
100%.
Big brain
I
over here.
wish. So I can't work right now, right? I can't go to my normal work and do my job. Thank God I'm still getting paid. Thank you, Georgetown, for all the things you do.
Shout out to Georgetown.
Um, uh, but one thing I have to say is that like my life has changed, right? My day to day is super different. Um, I am not at work doing what I usually would. So I had to find a new way to, stay on top of, for me, like productivity, or really just like having something to show for my day is super important to me. Um, so I started working on other projects, like Madison suggested, whether it's writing in a journal or a diary, or drawing. For me, another route that I took was, I thought it was really interesting to think about how physics education is going to change in like this post-COVID world where you have a lot of online education. Um, if you've ever taken a physics lab, it's really difficult to teach the right-hand rule over a two-dimensional screen. So, just things like that, or hands-on labs, it's not really very compatible with online education. So I did some research into that, writing up a review paper of sorts on it. And it was just something cool to, use my time in a different manner, even when I can't do what I'm supposed to be doing.
No,
That
definitely.
advice. Yeah, no, go ahead.
No, definitely. I mean, I think I've gone a different route in terms of the productivity, but kind of just working on projects that I feel like I've always wanted to work on, but
Like
may not
this.
necessarily. Yeah, I mean, example,
Facts.
Exhibit A right here.
Big
I mean, we've been trying to work on this for years, but it's just kind of
Yeah.
just finding the time to do it. Um, and that's just another thing that I've been able to be more productive in.
Right.
I don't believe that we would have Chopping It Up without this quarantine. And I mean, I guess it's kind of a blessing in disguise
Mm.
in light of a very difficult time. So we just got to count our blessings and see how we can be more productive, I would say.
Dude, like real quick. Shout out to Blouses because like he's always like letting us
Oh,
know
this guy.
when we need to be on deadlines and get things done, especially for chopping it up. Like it's important. Like if you always have someone there to remind you and harp on these things because it's easy to forget. It's easy to go out of your way,
For real.
do other things and not be focused on the goals and the things you want to get done. So like you need people like that. You need people to remind you. It may be, like you may not want to hear it at that time, but you need to hear it because if you don't hear it, you're not going to get it done. So
Mhm.
like shout out to Blouses especially because he's always on our asses. Like, yo, make sure you do that. Make sure you remember this. Remember shit like
Yes,
that.
sir.
So like it's I appreciate that a lot.
You
Like
guys give me
it's
too
a
much
big
credit.
time, dude.
Hmm.
For sure, bro.
Appreciate that a lot, dude.
Some
Like
call him the architect, you know?
easy, bro.
Easy, bro.
Dre
Come on
For
now.
sure.
blouses.
These
Dre,
guys.
architect blouses.
Now you see why these guys are the fellow hosts. I mean, come on now. That is A1. You got some great friends right here. What can you say?
And
Um,
Matakuds just put in the
Facts,
chat,
bro.
we're going to have some call-ins tonight, so make sure you guys are on top of that if you want to say something about whatever we're talking about, or just share your mind.
yes,
Yeah.
indeed.
Like
Join up.
Yes, indeed. I mean,
big
opinions
facts.
are welcome. Join the conversation. Be accountable for your positions. Come like hard hitting. Be objective. I mean, we don't
Exactly.
bite. Definitely do that. That's basically gonna be like the last 10 minutes of our show. So we just ask everyone just keep it to like one comment, question, concern. That way we can have time for as many as possible. If there are fewer, then you get a little bit more leeway. But we'll see. We'll just see how many people are trying to get on the lines. But I'd like to thank everyone so far for tuning in. We're about 30 people strong. If you guys are enjoying what you're seeing, please follow the stream. That will be the best way to know exactly when this is going down. I mean, it's going down every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. But you'll get that notification just in case, we start a little bit early more often than not. So you can chat with everyone in the chat and kind of just get a little bit of early preview on what's going on. Communicate with us. We'll be in the chat checking to see what's going on.
Of
So,
course.
Guys,
yeah.
we don't bite. We don't bite.
Come
Like
through.
we'll be chatting in here. You pull up.
Yeah,
Pull up.
definitely
Real.
feel comfortable because
Yeah.
we want to hear what you guys have to say.
Yeah, it's an open space,
Yeah.
open forum. So I think Feek was mentioning a very important thing. I mean, he mentioned Georgetown. Shout out to them and employing our man and giving him the opportunities that he has. Um, but he was discussing like the school element of things, and he said he was doing some research. I mean, that's pretty interesting. I want to see what you have to share with us on that. So, what have you been working on?
I mean, you talking about my real research? You talking about the work I've been doing offline
Well, the work you've been doing during the COVID-19
during
time.
COVID?
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so a lot of the stuff that I've been doing is about electronic learning and its compatibility with higher education and with physics specifically.
Okay.
Um, I've been doing a lot of research into a lot of case studies that are put out in the literature and just identifiers of how you can best compat the two with each other. Um, some of the things that I've seen a lot are there's a strong need for institutional support. So you need the schools, the educational institutions to put a lot of investments into it. It's something that we're going to see the most successful universities, especially over the next year or so, are going to be the ones that really embrace this and put a lot of money into tech support, real-time tech support, into a big one that I've seen is adapting a hiring and promotional process that takes into account teaching achievement rather than just research grants that they bring in, and actually like the education side of it rather than the status side. And then thirdly is mental health support. The universities making a really big switch to online telehealth mental education, mental health support. So there's going to have to be a big investment in each of those areas. And so there's definitely a roads and a ways to go on it, but definitely an achievable goal.
Yeah, and I mean, it's interesting to see how uh, the whole online schooling system targets people of different ages, because
Mm-hmm.
obviously, uh, a 3-year-old who doesn't have, years and years of experience going to school the way we went to school isn't going to react the same as
For sure.
someone in college who was all of a sudden, forced to just go home um, and do online schooling. But for me, it's just I know a lot of people that are very comfortable in school because it's a means for them to kind of get away from their situation at home. So I imagine that that has been like very difficult for a lot of people just because, you know, so many of them found it mentally satisfying for them to be in school with their boys and have that freedom to,
Right.
if they want to do this at this time, they go ahead and do it, etc. And now being confined in that situation, I feel like, can have very negative mental consequences.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, your brother actually just got sent a whole guide. I don't know if you've read it, Feek, but the Holy Cross sent out like guidelines to how the next semester is going to go, right? With
Yeah.
social distancing and whatnot. I haven't gotten a chance to look at it, but Jack, if you're in here or if anyone is in here with that kind of information, it'd be interesting to know how they're going to carry on that semester with those protocols and see how it can have an effect on learning, development, and things of that nature. So, if anyone's interested in calling in and maybe has something to say about that, or just wants to put it in the comment section, that'd be nice. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely advantages, but also some concerns that I have personally about that. So
So
in other schools, yeah, sorry, and not just Holy Cross, but any other schools, I'm sure uh, there are similar protocols. So
right,
yeah.
definitely. I mean, my school has issued their protocol, how they're gonna do social distancing,
Hmm.
and so on and so forth. And basically, what they're saying is classes that would typically hold 75 students will now hold roughly 25 students,
Hmm.
and nobody is within 6 feet in any direction.
Mm.
Sounds
Mm.
very safe, but I'm gonna be honest, I don't believe that it's gonna work out. I'm very skeptical. I'm a huge skeptic when it comes
Yeah.
to the return to school,
How would you
and
feel about being in an indoor room with 25 people right now?
it
Jeez,
wouldn't
bro.
happen. It
Holy
wouldn't happen.
smokes, dude.
Mask on, mask off wouldn't happen. And here's
Bro.
the thing. I just don't. I just can't get behind it. I mean, maybe I'm a little bit of a hypochondriac, and I do kind of freak out when it comes to getting sick. I used to get sick a lot when I was younger.
Like I got sick every
So
Tuesday.
yeah, I mean, I was sick a lot in
Bro.
college early on. So I just don't believe that we can really accommodate this right now. I believe that we, as institutions, just have to come together and develop online learning skills. I mean, they had the test run from March to May, and they've had the entire summer. I know it's Rome wasn't built in a day, but what can we come up with? And I've also seen fellow classmates, especially in something like law school, they do not want to miss a day. So I don't doubt that someone may be coming in with it. Hopefully not with knowledge that they have it, because if so, I think that's just gross. That's absolutely gross. That's like
But
one of
it's
the
gonna
worst things.
happen.
It definitely will. I've
I mean,
seen that before. I've
yeah,
seen
and you'll see it
instances.
with parents sending their 3-year-old to school or daycare when they're sick
Mm-hmm.
or they have
Hmm.
symptoms because the parent wants to go to work or doesn't want to have to deal with them for the day.
Yep.
Exactly.
Um, yeah,
So me with this knowledge, I've seen people. I've played games with people like basketball and so on and so forth, and then someone tells me, "Oh yeah, like I'm actually like sick right now." I'm like, "What's wrong with you? What? If I'm sick
right.
and someone tries to give me a handshake or something like that, you don't see me." I'm like, "Oh no, I'm sick, man. Like no, I can't do it. Like I'm coming down with a little something." And then if it's really bad and I'm contagious, you don't see me in that area. You don't see me in school. I'm right here. So I just don't know.
Yes, sir.
Just
I'm
don't.
looking at some of the comments in chat right now, like about providing equipment for students. Come on, what?
Yeah,
Like I
man.
feel like at least in my school, I'm heading into my second year in law school. Uh, they're allowing the 2Ls and the 3Ls the option to just take classes remotely. Last semester we took classes remotely, and I feel like everyone's gotten to that level of comfort to just be on the computer listening to lectures and stuff like that. I feel like that's probably the best approach to go, just because you don't really know, what the students are thinking. Like, no one wants to contract this disease. This is a deadly disease. This is harmful. And it's like I said before earlier. Like, it's better to be safe than sorry. I know my school is actually implementing the same things as Blouses has said, where they keep the students 6 feet apart and stuff like that. And I know the 1Ls have to be on campus for certain classes just for them to be acclimated into law school. But it's just like the option should always be there for us to be able to remotely learn,
Mm.
or accommodate us, in a convenient way as possible for us to get the lesson, the the education that we need
Mm.
in a way that doesn't compromise our safety and our health. You know,
Right.
that's the biggest thing.
For sure.
Um, yeah, I think remote learning is always good as long as you express how it's going to go about, and you know find ways to make it effective for the students.
Definitely.
I don't see a problem with remote learning at all, to be
Definitely.
honest,
And
especially now, dude.
yeah, I mean, my school, just to give the entire perspective, just to not withhold anything, um, they also do have the option. We can have remote learning. However, we do have to be present in person for finals.
Mm.
So, I mean, I guess it's kind of pick your poison. Would you rather be there for about 3 days, or would you rather be there for about 100 days? Which one? What's better? So I do appreciate the fact that they do have the option, as you were saying, where you don't kind of get forced into being in a space that you are not necessarily comfortable with, because some of us have predicaments where we have family members that are incredibly high risk. We have loved ones that are high risk. So what do you
For
say
sure.
like in a situation like that? Do you say, "Oh, well, just come in, do it. It's essential." I mean, but what if I go in and then I contract
Yes.
COVID-19? I mean, I know it's a major hypothetical. It's a lot of what if. There's a lot of chance that you have to go with, but I don't know. That's just my take on it.
Yeah. Definitely going to be interesting to see how it plays out. I think Feek hit it home. You know, it's going to depend on those institutions that are willing to invest appropriately in that kind of method of
Yeah.
learning. So yeah, I guess we'll see. Only time will tell, right? How successful it really is and what kind of experiences come out of it.
Definitely. I mean, I think a major thing with this, and I mean, with the return to school and just COVID-19 in a nutshell, is the mental drain, the mental stress,
Yes, sir.
and just there's no sense of certainty. Pretty much, we kind of take a lot for granted. We don't really count our blessings, but now I think people are a little bit closer to home and really cherishing what they have a little bit more, and cherishing what they had prior to the start of this lockdown, this virus running rampant, and
Mm.
everything. Because I know I definitely didn't appreciate things the way how I do now. Like you never know what's gonna happen. So let's rap about the mental stress, mental health during this time.
Man,
It was
like
a big one.
honestly, there's so much to say, so I'm gonna just keep it brief. But that has been, from my experience and from a lot of people I know's experience, the biggest factor, right? Because you have quarantine. On the one hand, the fact that you're isolated from your surroundings, right? No physical contact with people, no you don't have the ability to really make social connections as much. Um, and I feel like that has a very negative consequence on people's stress levels. You know, anything as simple as a handshake, a hug, um, having a talk with a friend at the gym, all of that has a positive effect on your health, like your dopamine levels, just speaking scientifically, your serotonin levels. Um, all of that can kind of help you feel happy and be in a good overall mood. So when you take all of that away, it kind of leaves you in a peculiar state, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
and on the other hand, you have just the fear of the virus itself, just being scared about your loved ones having it or
Yeah,
you having it
definitely
yourself.
has me shook.
Yeah, I
It
mean,
really does.
somebody put in chat, I think Neil Conte, you're scared every day that your parents might get it or loved ones might get it, and having to deal with the isolation that you're in, as well as the fact that you're just constantly scared of the unknown, I think has a very significant consequence on the way you think and just the abrupt change of things. Like when you're used to a certain routine, like my mom, for instance, has been working for 25 plus years and was forced to just abruptly stop. All of a sudden she has no control over her routine. She has kind of a difference in role. That role as a worker is no longer there. Now she has to get accustomed to her role, in the household
Yeah,
and et
yeah.
cetera, et cetera. It's just a lot of negative consequences that can come about being in isolation, in my opinion, along with the fear, of getting sick and family members dying and whatnot.
Yeah, like you said, my biggest worry is about my parents, dude. Like my friends and like my loved ones, like my brother, my mom and dad. Like initially, obviously, like I was worried about contracting the disease as well. But after some time, like I was like, you know what, okay, you just got to be safe. You have to educate yourself on ways to prevent, contracting the disease and just being
Hmm.
safe. But like I'll say, for example, my mom, she didn't work at work for like a couple months, and she just went back a couple weeks ago. And dude, like the stress and the anxiety, you can't see it on my face, like, and I never say it, but it's immense, dude. Like who knows like who you come in contact with, like someone could cough or whatever, sneeze and touch a doorknob, a piece of paper, a file, something that has to come into contact with someone else, and something can happen. Like, so those are the things that I'm worried about the most.
I mean,
My
oh,
mom
you
and
can
dad
find
both.
it's obviously a big deal about being in the same place as someone, but find a little solace that research is pointing to the fact that it's not transmittable by um, contact from dirty surfaces. a
Yeah.
very very low likelihood. So
Hmm.
It's
And
a,
that's
yeah.
another thing too, bro. Like we have to do our job is to at least educate ourselves on the disease. Like
Each and
I
every
think
day.
the biggest concern is that we don't know, right?
right.
And when
Oh,
we don't
absolutely.
know, there's resistance, right? When we don't know, there's pushback. When we
It's a
don't
hoax.
know, yeah, like when we don't know, there's opposition on our parts. When we make noise, and it becomes this whole fiasco, and like it's a hoax, it's a scheme, but we have to do better jobs of educating ourselves, understanding, ways to prevent contracting the disease and staying safe and you know, um, coping with this because this thing isn't going away. We're not gonna just wake up and be like, oh, there's no more COVID. Like it's
Magically.
it's something that we're gonna
Fingers
live with.
crossed.
It's
I
something
mean,
that
I
we're
wouldn't
gonna
mind
live.
that, to be honest with you.
I mean, me too, bro. To be honest, right? But it's something that we're gonna have to live with for a while, and we just have to do better jobs of staying aware, staying alarmed, and
I'm blessed. What about
really
your
keeping
end?
our toes, dude.
On my end, I would like to say that I'm just very scared out of my mind sometimes. As I said, I used to
With your
get sick a
family?
lot. Yeah, I mean, just being honest, both my parents are within the risk group. So, and they
Mm,
have to do certain things. They have business that they have to take care of. They have people they have to look after, and they have to go outside. Luckily enough, they have a certain time that's allocated to them. I'm not sure if that's even in effect anymore, but when that was in effect, I really enjoyed that because it would limit the exposure to more people. I mean, it's a petri dish in those stores in Walmart, in your Trader Joe's. It's just that's just a great place for the virus to just be transmitted.
mhm.
It's our
I
boy
mean,
DJT right now. Everything is fine.
everything's fine. I mean, that's
Everything is
that's what you
fine.
gotta do. You gotta do whatever you can to keep your head on straight. I mean, the minute I cough, the minute I hear a cough, I'm like, whoa, are you okay? Like, is everything okay? The amount of times I've taken my temperature when I'm feeling a little off, I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I have it. Like, I have to have it. Like, I gotta stay inside. I gotta wear my mask. I can't really like touch my family members. I can't like give my brother a handshake because he's out all the time. He's an essential worker. He has to be working. What if I get it? Like, what's going on? So it's
Mm.
just a major problem. But I would also like to say, like, going back to the productivity side of things and mental health, I think kind of having the freedom has also been a slight blessing in disguise, as I've said before. Like, we're able to do something like chopping it up. We're able to kind of take time to do that. It's just finding that balance. And I think things like this, having these conversations, is therapeutic. At least for
Yeah.
me, it's really just having some sort of contact because that's a
Mhm.
thing that's really void now. We don't have contact with anyone. We see
That's
each
big,
other on the
man.
screen. We don't have the physical touch. We can't play ball. We can't like go like goof off or do anything like that. Like, like Jose and I, we can't like grapple or do anything like that and then pretend like we're not doing it. So
Some
There's no
it's
WWE
WWE.
moves.
yeah, like come on, man.
And yeah,
Like
There's none of
blouses.
that.
just these four
That's
walls.
I feel like what you just said is something that goes under the rug a lot. Like, yes, it's obvious that a lot of people are scared of the potential consequences of the virus, but just the abrupt change in routine, I feel like, is something that's underlooked.
Hmm.
Dude,
Think
that's
about
crazy.
someone that goes to the gym every day for 2 or 3 years, that works every day for 5 years, and then all of a sudden you're asking them, now you're gonna just be stuck in your house for 4 or 5 months. You have um people finding out who their couples are. Like people that are married who are just getting to know each other because of the quarantine. Like it's no, seriously. It's
Nah,
it's
actually
it's a
though,
big
No,
it's
it's
a
fact.
big thing. I think. I mean, not to point to any
not trying to name
particular things
names,
going
but
on right now, but that huge shift in livelihood is very important to consider when it comes to mental consequence.
Absolutely.
Not many people know how to deal with it. Um, and it's something that I feel like should be addressed in terms of mental health issues going forward.
Yeah. I think we're gonna have some call-ins if you're interested in calling in. Look in the chat. But one thing I wanted to say is I think this is a super important time where we can hope to push for more addressing of mental health issues, especially
Mm.
with the stigma on seeking out mental help, whether people consider that health or not. Especially in like um, for for males, it's definitely stigmatized, especially minority males. It's just not something that's looked at as normal health, right?
I can
Yeah.
speak to that, dude. Like, there's so many people older than me that they don't go to the hospital. They feel like they can take care of whatever issues that they're experiencing by themselves.
Yep.
And that's at least in this moment, in this time, like that should be frowned upon, right? We need to
Mhm.
make sure we understand what we're dealing with and what we're experiencing. And uh, reach those avenues that can, help us and help us overcome, or beat whatever it is that we're suffering from.
Yep.
Um, and even like earlier in this whole COVID chapter, like there was reports that people of color are experiencing higher rates of infection and catching the disease. Like that was a big thing, dude. Like it wasn't something to just gloss over because that was affecting people,
Oh yeah.
and people weren't acknowledging the fact that they may have they may show symptoms, but they feel like it's not important or like it's not something that I need to go to the doctor for. No, dude, like at this point, at this moment, because we don't know, because we don't have experience with this stuff, you need to make it a duty. You need to make it a habit to
Right.
routinely visit the doctor
Mm.
and routinely visit your physician because you never know, dude. You never know. And you don't want to be the guy that has the disease and transfers it over to your kids or your parents or your relatives. They catch it and it's fatal. That's a huge burden to carry, and I don't think anyone wants to hold that burden.
Absolutely.
Like that's one of my biggest fears.
A
Maybe
lot of
I'm
resources too.
asymptomatic. Maybe I'm asymptomatic and I pass it on to my mom or dad who are older than me, who may be more susceptible, and it's fatal. That is weighing down on me so it's crazy. But
Yeah.
yeah,
And there's a lot of resources too, especially considering everything going on, that I encourage everyone here to um, look for and seek advice whenever you feel the need to, just let it all out. So definitely be on the lookout for those resources. I know a couple of people that have used them, and it's been very helpful for them. So um, yeah, I would advise that.
Definitely. So it's now that time. The lines are open. Exclamation point call in, exclamation point Discord if you'd like to join the conversation. You want to voice your opinion. You want to comment on what's going on. You want to ask a question. You want to ask even the chat's opinion. The chat's here. We got to run through this while we're waiting for our callers to see what people have been saying. I've been seeing a lot of great things in here. Very uncertain time. We have to try our best to keep ourselves and our families safe. Yes, indeed. I mean,
Manita.
that's the name of the game right now. It really is. I mean, if there's anything to prioritize, it's your family. And huge shout out to frontline workers. Huge shout out to essential workers that
Big
go
big
out
facts.
there
facts, bro.
and
Holy
risk each and
smokes,
every
dude.
day. I mean, at the end of the day, you got to do what you have to do, but it's taken to an extreme now because these are just so, like, such uncertain times.
Dude,
So,
dude,
more power
even
to
like
them. Better than me,
even like people like at grocery stores, be at the
especially them.
register. You know what I'm saying? Like, and these are people my age. Like, that's what's crazy. These are people that are younger than me in high school and starting college. Those people are out there working and making, they're making life a little bit easier. Making it, closing the gap at least for us to feel that semblance of just normal routine and normal life where we
Mm.
go get some groceries, right? Those people are needed, and um, at least I'll speak for us. Like we appreciate it each and every day, and for each and everything that you guys do for us. And it's important,
Hmm.
100%
Yeah, we gotta do
for sure.
something. Like we have to do something as a nation for the frontline workers, people that work in grocery stores, because I mean, how often do you just kind of say like, "Oh, you work at that grocery store and all that," and you may see someone get clowned for that? No, we're done with that. We're not clowning those people anymore. None of that. I'm not accepting that slander anymore.
They just saved us.
Yeah, like what?
Yeah,
And
bro, what?
delivery people that
Yeah, look
deliver
at that.
too, people that work at Uber Eats, Grubhub, DoorDash, whatever service you use.
Risking their
Like,
lives,
come
bro.
on
It's
now.
crazy.
Like, we have to be
Yeah.
appreciative of people nowadays, man. Like, enough of this whole like let's slander this or oh you can only do this or that. Like, you do it. Go do it. Go out and do it. Go sign up. Let me see you do it. Right?
Every single person has their role to play in all of this, so no
Mm-hmm.
one should ever be attacked for the role that they play. Because one way, look, I mean, we're seeing now how valuable they are, you know. So definitely vouch for that. Do we have a call in? Is that what I saw? Or am I
Um,
bugging?
I'm not sure to be honest with you. I don't know if I saw. So just running through the chat just to see if there's any that we missed. Oh, here's another interesting one. The you guys heard about these COVID parties, right?
Oh my God, bro.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
man,
stupid.
sick. Rad, dude. I mean,
It's disgusting.
it's
I mean, look, Steve put in the chat.
Yeah.
Humans are inherently stupid and selfish. I don't know if I agree with that, per se, but um, definitely we're seeing the stupid side of people with decisions like these, you know, and very inconsiderate. I don't know if to call it uh dumb, right? Like a lack of knowledge of what's going on,
it's
or if to call
reckless.
it selfish or a combination of both, you know. But it's definitely sad to see that people are putting our neighbors at risk because they can't stay at home and want to go party. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know what could be done to stop people like that from doing what they have to do.
I mean, the government putting regulations on the number of people allowed in a house and then enforcing it.
I
Yeah.
guess doing
Police have
that
been
like
enforcing
mhm,
some crazy shit recently. How about that?
Yeah. I mean, come on. Like,
yeah.
how do you even come up with the concept of, oh yeah, that person is positive. Yeah, let's get him or her in this party. Let's see who catches it first. You get
Bro,
the
is that
whole
really what's
pot.
happening?
That's what's happening. They're
Wait,
doing
what?
this. You
Hold
guys
up,
haven't heard
what?
about
What?
these? Yeah, these COVID parties. That's what they're doing. Like in Alabama, I think they have one in Connecticut, if I'm not mistaken. So basically, I mean, it's people that are in college, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So these are people that, I mean, they should have some sense. I would like to think. I mean, I know common sense isn't that common, but come on now, you're in college. Like, what are you doing? How are you inviting someone that you
Let's
know
do
is
that,
positive to
bro.
try to possibly infect masses? Makes no
Oh
sense.
man.
Bro,
I
it's
thought they were just normal parties, bro. I didn't even that to
No,
me sounded bad, but what?
Bro, that's crazy. I just pulled up an article on that. That is wild.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know what to say about that one, to be honest. Uh, yeah, that's beyond my understanding, to be honest. Why anyone would do something like that? But
you know what killed me was when maybe like a month back, a couple weeks back, when especially places in the South were opening up public venues, and I would see on social media that people were partying, and like people had pool parties, bro. Like clubs were open, and no one was wearing masks.
mhm.
Just like things were normal, and I'm sitting here like, is this like real life? Like we're in a pandemic. The other side of the country is going nuts right now. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like New York was crippled for so long until like what I think this last week or this week, no, they reported no deaths or something like that.
Yeah,
four
last week.
Like,
months. Took
Last week
4 months.
for the first
like
time since March. Yeah.
I don't care how perfect it is where you're at. Like you have to be cognizant of what's going on around you. Like you cannot allow something this. You can't allow this to get worse. You can allow people to be ignorant to what's going on, and like you have to like it's on these states and the government in these states to enforce some type of laws or rules to just make sure that people are safe. Because what happens
Uh,
is these people going to these parties and these clubs, they may get infected, and then they'll go to the store or they'll go home and
Right.
infect innocent people, who will then infect other people, and it becomes a trickle effect, right? And people become infected and they don't know what happened, how they got it, what
Hmm.
happened. Like
Mm.
it's not like, oh, I'm 22, I can do whatever I want. No, dude, it's not like that. You go home, you have somewhere to sleep, you have people that you talk to, you have people that you meet. It's not as simple as you think it is. You have to be cognizant of what's going on, and you have to be cognizant of those around you. And you owe a duty to people to be safe and be smart about the decisions that you make.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Simple as that, bro. Simple
I
as
got
that.
nothing more to say on that. I mean, you said it all. I don't know.
Shout out to Rumi number two, Mama Rumi. Um, because the other day there was some ex-physician that was going around talking about how um wearing a mask is like a personal choice and that it doesn't really matter all that much if you don't wear it. So I guess if you have people like that promoting that, that can be very problematic. So
Yeah, you need a level of accountability. Like,
yeah,
back up your words, own them. If you're saying the wrong thing, come out and say, hey, you know what? I said this. I was wrong. Do the right thing. It's not
maybe
too
they
late.
don't. Maybe they think they're right though. That might be the
I mean,
problem.
yeah. I mean, if that's the case, then there ain't nothing we can do, man.
I mean,
There
at that
absolutely
point,
nothing we can do.
Right now, right? If you think you're right, you're actually, it's not. There's nothing. There's no like left or right, or you can compromise for this position. No, like it's better to err on the right side, like the safe
Mhm.
side, to err on the you know
Mm,
ignorant and unsafe side. Simple as that. For me, at least.
mm.
Also, shout out to Rick Too Good, yo. Shout out to Rick.
Yes, sir.
Too
Yes, indeed, to Rick. Um, but yeah, I mean, guys, that was our TED Talk on quarantine dreams and nightmares. I
Thank
hope
you
you
for coming to a
guys.
TikTok.
Yep, I hope you guys enjoyed the show. We covered a lot of things. We realized it is face mask season, especially going into this fall and winter. Face mask season, because at the end of the day, they're projecting that this fall and winter is going to be one of the worst that we've ever seen because of all the illness that may be going around. So I just say stay safe, do the right thing, just be respectful of everyone. That's what we got to say. But thank you for viewing, and we will see you next week. Same time as always, Wednesday, 8 p.m., 5 p.m. Pacific.
Hey, blouses. The people in the chat are asking what's going on next week.
Oh, next week. Oh my goodness. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I kind of dropped the ball right there. We're gonna do this
Yeah,
really briefly. Actually, we're gonna do this really brief. We're
Real
gonna
quick, let the people have their voices heard.
yeah,
You know
we
what I'm
really
saying?
want to have
that
you.
might be the wave, bro.
Yeah, so
Let's hear it.
I'm putting it in right now. We want to hear from you. We want to hear what you want to hear about in the next coming weeks. We have a couple ideas. We've been thinking about some things, but let's run a quick poll. It's only going to take about, I would say, a minute. So if you're in the chat, just click on whatever you want to hear about next out of the 5 options that we're going to have. And yeah, we'll see you.
Democracy in action, Tim. That's funny, dude. Burger King or McDonald's, bro. Burger King all the way, bro. That's not even a debate, bro.
Is that even a
Not,
debate, bro? Honestly,
not even, bro. Chipotle or Moe's. I don't even know what Moe's is. They don't have Moe's in DR, bro. So. Oh man.
oh man, bro. In and out or Shake Shack. Okay, so I'm gonna
Okay,
Okay, you're going
Rumi,
the
get
wrong
out of here.
direction out
so
here.
I'm voting Shake Shack. I'm voting Shake Shack. I'm sorry. I don't even know what an In and Out is.
Yeah, I never seen or heard about that, so.
I'm not taking that in and out slander either.
That might be a Canadian thing, bro.
Oh boy. Wait, where's the poll?
Or maybe you want to put it on like the socials or something like that.
No, the poll's coming out right now. It's coming out right now. Free will, postcards, social media.
Also, if you guys have any questions or comments about what we just talked about, always feel free to just drop it in the chat, and I'm sure we'll get back to you eventually. But again, shout out to everyone who supported us for all these episodes. Like Blouses says constantly, we can't we can't be here without you guys' support. So
Yo, low key,
really appreciate it.
if I could put the prayer hands emoji on screen, like that would just be the prayer hands emoji.
Maybe that should be the next Blouses emo, bro.
It might
I'm
have to
not.
be, bro, because like the support is crazy, dog.
Oh look, he just typed that on his
I
iPhone.
got you.
I thought he found a real one, but it's just his iPhone.
Okay, can everyone see the poll in
Ooh,
chat?
yes.
I believe it's there. I can't see it on my end, but I know
can't
I'm gonna pull it up really quick. Pretty sure it should be running.
It's on the top right. If you
Oh
guys
yeah,
click,
up top
yep,
on
yep.
top of the chat.
Oh, top of the chat box. Yeah. So just vote there. We'll see what the results are. It'll last about 2 minutes, and yeah. Oh, I see it right now. Wow. Here we go. Okay.
Relationships. We got a couple heartbroken people.
Oh my
Yo,
goodness. Wow.
oh man, bro.
I'm just letting you know, Owen Neo Conte is gonna be front and center in
No,
that
no, no,
episode.
no,
So
no, no, no.
free will. We got some philosophers in here. I love it.
Ooh, this poll is fire. We got to start doing this like halfway through so we get a lot of people.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Mhm.
Halfway through, we'll be,
that'll be
we'll be
kind of
legit.
fuego, no lie.
It's kind of crazy. Ooh,
Yo,
free
guys,
will taking over.
Yeah,
yo,
free
this
will
shit part
taking
is kind of
over.
crazy though, yo.
Oh
My
my
heart might
goodness.
break on
Okay.
stream, so I mean, I don't know if you see that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's tough. It's tough out here sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Johnny Boy wants the sports.
The
Sports?
sports.
See,
Okay.
we
He's
should
The
also put
sports.
that on.
Hey,
We should also put it on Instagram to see like that
Yeah.
audience as well and see
Yeah,
what they
yeah,
want
we
to
should
see,
throw
indeed.
it on
Yes,
the
indeed.
Chopping It Up Instagram page.
Yes,
and
indeed.
then like add them all up. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh,
Of course. So as they just mentioned right there, if you don't already follow our Instagram, it is chopping it, just chopping it at chopping it. So
follow that, guys.
yes, indeed, to see highlights, to see our posts, updates, anything of that nature, at chopping on Instagram.
Yes, sir.
No.
Okay. I don't know how much
Easy
time
money.
is left. Not that much.
we're
Let's
gonna
see.
clock out.
Okay. Whoa, free will. Free will. Social
Free
media
will with the
dead
will.
last. Ooh, people don't want to hear about that no more. Okay.
That's what I'm here, bro. I'm here. Free will is ramping it up the votes right now.
Yeah, I
bro.
like that. I like that. I like
They
that.
just happy relationships didn't win, bro.
I mean, you guys don't want to see a heartbreak on stream, so
Might be me and Conte crying the whole episode. I don't know if y'all want to see that. So,
that
It's
we
gonna
really
be
don't want to see that.
it's gonna be real interesting. But
oh man,
if you want to see any episode that you've missed, any of the first three, they are currently up on YouTube. And if you miss anything in this episode, it'll be up on YouTube in about 2 days. So be sure to tune in. Exclamation point YouTube in the chat. And once again, that has been us. Thank you very much. We will see
Thanks
you
for coming,
next
people.
week.
thanks
Appreciate
for
you all.
coming, y'all. Appreciate y'all.
Appreciate you guys and the support for tuning in.